In the grand tapestry of human relations, it is inevitable that we will encounter moments when others treat us with a lack of dignity. It is almost as though the world, with its many complexities and personal battles, has conspired to test our ability to rise above the commonplace tendency to retaliate or respond in kind. The question then becomes not whether we will be wronged, but how we will respond when the moment arrives. To understand this, we must first grasp the concept of personal integrity. Integrity, in its truest form, is not defined by how others treat us, but by the standards to which we hold ourselves. A person of integrity is not defined by the quality of others' actions, but by their own unyielding commitment to moral and ethical principles. It is far easier, in moments of injustice, to mirror the negative behavior we receive and, in doing so, to diminish our own integrity. But we must ask ourselves, should we allow the actions of others to determine the essence of who we are? Surely, our strength lies in our ability to maintain our principles, unaffected by the follies of those around us. Therein lies the power of responding with kindness. It takes a person of great strength to meet disrespect with dignity, and this act of kindness, far from being a weakness, is the pinnacle of strength. A person who chooses respect over retaliation speaks not only to the character of the one disrespecting, but to the greater purpose of human interaction itself. It is paradoxically often the one who bears disrespect quietly who possesses the greatest authority. Such a response does not seek to subjugate the other, but instead to elevate the situation, offering a glimpse of how we might interact in an ideal world, one in which mutual respect is the norm, not the exception. Responding with respect is a transformative force in society. It is easy to fall into the trap of believing that our actions alone will not change anything, but this could not be further from the truth. Every time we choose to respond with dignity, we cast a stone into the pool of humanity that ripples far beyond our immediate sphere of influence. Each act of compassion, however small, can become a catalyst for greater understanding and peace. In a world where disrespect seems to be a prevalent force, a person who responds with respect is a beacon of hope and a living example of the possibility of human greatness. It is through this consistent choice that we build a better, more compassionate society. When we are faced with disrespect, we must ask ourselves, are we willing to respect others even when they fail to show us the same? For in this very choice lies not just the opportunity to maintain our own integrity, but to shape the world around us. Let us choose then to respond with respect, not because others deserve it, but because we do. The value of personal integrity. Personal integrity is the cornerstone of a person's character, and it is what defines us when faced with the most challenging situations. Integrity is not a mere act of following rules, but a steadfast adherence to a set of values that shape our actions, beliefs, and interactions with others. It is the measure of how true we are to our own principles, especially when we are tested by external circumstances or by the behavior of others. In moments of disrespect, when the temptation to retaliate or to mirror the negativity we face is strongest, personal integrity becomes the foundation upon which we stand firm. To have integrity is to remain true to ourselves, even when the world around us encourages us to act otherwise. In a society that often rewards quick retaliation, pettiness, or a defense of one's own pride, integrity calls us to a higher standard. It demands that we not be swayed by the whims or shortcomings of others. A person of integrity does not need the validation of others to know what is right. They know their own worth, their own boundaries, and their own values. Their actions reflect what they believe is true, not necessarily what is easy or popular. In dealing with disrespect, a person who possesses integrity understands that their response is not just about the immediate moment, but also about their long-term character. The challenge lies in the fact that disrespect, when encountered, often triggers an emotional reaction. We feel hurt, angered, or belittled, and our immediate instinct is to defend our dignity, to fight back, or to seek retribution. However, a person who values integrity understands that responding in this manner does not uphold their values. It compromises them. Responding in kind to disrespect would mean lowering oneself to the same level as those who seek to degrade or harm. It is an invitation to abandon the very virtues that one holds dear. Integrity, in contrast, calls us to remain unwavering, not in pride or arrogance, but in the quiet certainty of our own self-worth. When we act in accordance with our values, regardless of how others behave, we maintain our dignity. Integrity is not simply about avoiding retaliation. It is about choosing to act in a way that aligns with a deeper sense of responsibility. To maintain integrity in the face of disrespect is to recognize that how we behave reflects not just on us, but on the greater community in which we live. In many ways, the choice to uphold personal integrity is a demonstration of respect for the larger system of values and the well-being of society. Disrespect, when responded to with a loss of personal dignity, breeds a culture of distrust and conflict. However, when it is met with integrity, it fosters a society based on mutual respect and shared values. Integrity is also about taking responsibility for one's actions and reactions. It is easy to fall into the trap of blame when faced with disrespect. We may feel justified in lashing out because of how we have been treated, but true integrity demands that we take ownership of how we choose to respond. While we cannot control the actions of others, we can control how we behave. Choosing to uphold our values in the face of disrespect is not just a reaction to a single instance. It is an ongoing commitment to living in alignment with who we are at our core. Integrity asks us to be accountable not just for our behavior, but also for how we engage with the world around us, even when we are wronged. The challenge of integrity is not just in how we respond in isolated instances, but in how we cultivate a lifestyle based on it. It is an ongoing practice that involves the continuous strengthening of our moral compass. Each time we choose to act with integrity, even when the world seems to encourage us otherwise, we build our character and deepen our commitment to what is truly important. This, in turn, becomes a guiding force in all areas of life, not just in moments of conflict, but in our daily interactions, in our work, and in our relationships. Integrity is not something that can be summoned only in times of crisis. It must be practiced consistently so that it becomes the default way of living. When we are grounded in integrity, we no longer need to prove ourselves or defend our worth, because it is rooted in something far deeper than any external validation. In a world that often values success, power, and winning at all costs, personal integrity stands as a quiet, steadfast reminder that there is something more important than fleeting victories or momentary pride. It is the preservation of one's inner moral compass in a world that frequently seeks to lead us astray. Responding to disrespect with integrity, therefore, is not simply an act of resistance, but an affirmation of one's commitment to higher principles. By upholding our integrity, we not only protect our sense of self, but also model a behavior that encourages others to act in accordance with their own moral values, creating a ripple effect of respect and dignity in the larger society. The power of responding with kindness. When faced with disrespect, the instinctual reaction for many is to fight back, to defend oneself, or to match the negativity with an equal measure of anger or resentment. In such moments, it can be challenging to choose kindness. Yet the true power of responding with kindness lies not in weakness, but in the immense strength it requires to resist the pull of negative emotions and to remain calm and composed. Kindness in this context is not a passive response, but a conscious, deliberate choice to maintain peace and humanity, even in the face of provocation. Responding with kindness, especially when one is disrespected, is an act of immense courage. It requires an individual to rise above the natural impulse to retaliate and instead offer something far more powerful, an example of how we might behave when we are at our best. This act is not about being submissive or weak, but about exercising control over one's own emotions and actions. It is a reflection of inner strength, a sign that we are not defined by the actions of others, but by our own values and principles. Kindness, in this sense, serves as a powerful tool for personal growth, allowing us to choose a higher path rather than succumbing to the lower instincts of anger and hostility. Kindness is transformative, not just for the person receiving it, but for the one offering it. In responding with kindness, we take control of the situation and create a shift in the emotional dynamics. The very act of offering kindness in the face of disrespect can disarm the other person. It has the potential to disorient and diffuse a tense moment, as it is an unexpected response that challenges the status quo. Instead of escalating the situation with further aggression, we introduce a new possibility, a possibility that invites empathy and reflection. This response can often cause the other party to reconsider their actions, not out of force or confrontation, but through a subtle realization that kindness carries its own kind of authority and power. It is essential to recognize that responding with kindness does not mean condoning the disrespect or accepting the behavior of others. Kindness is not a passivity that allows one to be trampled upon or disrespected without consequence. Rather, it is a deliberate choice to remain composed and civil, even when confronted with unjust behavior. By responding with kindness, we are not endorsing disrespect, but instead we are offering a path toward understanding, dialogue, and resolution. It is an invitation for the other person to reflect on their actions and recognize the impact they have on others. In this sense, kindness is a bridge, one that connects people across differences, misunderstandings, or conflicts. It opens the door to deeper communication and potential reconciliation. Kindness also has the remarkable ability to break cycles of negativity. In many instances, disrespect and hostility are perpetuated because people are simply reacting to each other's negative behaviors. One person disrespects another, and the cycle continues as each party escalates the conflict. By choosing kindness, we disrupt this cycle. A kind response introduces an element of humanity that encourages the possibility of mutual respect and understanding. In doing so, it has the potential to soften even the hardest hearts, leading to more peaceful and constructive interactions. Kindness is a force that transcends the immediate moment, reaching beyond the present exchange and laying the groundwork for healthier, more compassionate relationships in the future. To its immediate impact on the situation at hand, responding with kindness has a ripple effect that extends into broader social and communal contexts. When individuals consistently choose kindness over hostility, They contribute to a collective atmosphere of respect and understanding. The act of kindness becomes contagious, spreading from person to person and influencing the behavior of others. In this way, kindness is not only a personal virtue but a social one, capable of creating a culture of compassion and empathy. Just as negativity and disrespect can breed further negativity, kindness has the potential to foster goodwill and cooperation among people. This ripple effect is not limited to the individual interactions we have. It extends to the wider society, slowly shifting the culture toward one that values kindness and understanding over judgment and hostility. The power of responding with kindness also lies in its ability to protect our own emotional well-being. Responding with anger or resentment often leads to further stress, frustration, and negativity. Holding on to bitterness can be toxic, not just for our relationships, but for our own mental and physical health. In contrast, responding with kindness helps to maintain our peace of mind. By choosing not to react to disrespect with further negativity, we free ourselves from the burden of carrying that anger. We create space for compassion and understanding, both for ourselves and for others. This ability to remain grounded and calm in the face of disrespect allows us to preserve our emotional balance and navigate challenging situations with grace and maturity. Responding with kindness is a form of emotional intelligence. It demonstrates an awareness of the emotional currents at play in any interaction and a thoughtful response that seeks to elevate the conversation rather than escalate the conflict. It reflects a mature understanding that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond. In a world that often rewards anger, aggression, and retaliation, choosing kindness is a radical act, one that speaks volumes about the power of compassion to heal, transform, and build a better society. By responding with kindness, we do not just improve our own lives, we contribute to a larger movement of peace, understanding, and unity. The influence of compassion on society. Compassion, when consistently demonstrated, has the potential to reshape entire societies. It serves as a catalyst for understanding, empathy, and collaboration, transforming individual interactions into opportunities for collective growth. In a world where the default response to conflict often leans toward division, blame, or anger, choosing compassion is a revolutionary act. It moves beyond personal relationships and creates a ripple effect that influences broader social dynamics, fostering a culture of mutual respect, cooperation, and peace. When we act with compassion, we are not merely offering kindness to those who deserve it, but extending understanding and empathy to all, including those who may not reciprocate. This open-heartedness challenges the very notion of us versus them, promoting a worldview that recognizes shared humanity over divisive differences. Compassion allows us to see beyond the behavior of others, understanding that every person is shaped by their own struggles, experiences, and perspectives. When we choose compassion over judgment or resentment, we begin to build a bridge between ourselves and others, one that invites dialogue rather than conflict. This bridge does not ignore wrongdoing, but instead seeks to understand the deeper causes of behavior, acknowledging the complexity of human experience. One of the most profound aspects of compassion is its ability to dismantle barriers. Whether in the form of prejudice, cultural divides, or ideological differences, compassion has the power to reduce the tensions that often exist between groups. In a society that is increasingly polarized, the compassionate response is to listen, to seek common ground, and to offer understanding. By doing so, we create an environment where people feel heard, valued, and respected, regardless of their background or beliefs. This shift in perspective encourages collaboration and peace, rather than conflict and division. Compassion fosters an atmosphere where individuals can engage with one another not as adversaries, but as partners in the shared human experience, capable of finding solutions together. Compassion also plays a crucial role in resolving conflicts. In both personal and collective settings, conflicts often arise from a lack of understanding or an inability to relate to the experiences and emotions of others. When we approach these situations with compassion, we open ourselves to truly listening to the other person's point of view. This requires a level of humility as we acknowledge that our perspective is not the only valid one. Compassion in conflict resolution does not demand that we abandon our own beliefs or values, but it does call for a willingness to understand and to engage in dialogue. It is through this dialogue that lasting solutions are found. Compassion, therefore, becomes a tool for not only mitigating conflict, but for creating a space where people can come together to work toward common goals despite their differences. At a societal level, the influence of compassion extends far beyond individual encounters. In communities where compassion is valued, social norms evolve to reflect a commitment to care for others. Public policies, institutions, and even cultural practices begin to prioritize the well-being of individuals, particularly the most vulnerable. Compassionate societies are ones where justice is not only about enforcing laws, but about ensuring that all people are treated with dignity, fairness, and respect. This can be seen in initiatives that seek to address poverty, inequality, and social injustice. When compassion is woven into the fabric of society, it becomes a driving force behind movements for systemic change, encouraging individuals to work towards solutions that benefit everyone, not just a select few. Compassion is a key driver of social cohesion. It enables people to connect with each other on a deeper level, promoting empathy and understanding across social, economic, and cultural lines. In societies where compassion thrives, people are more likely to work together for the common good. This collaboration creates stronger communities as individuals come to see one another not as strangers or rivals, but as fellow human beings with shared goals and aspirations. The effect of this collective compassion is profound. It not only enhances individual relationships, but strengthens the very social fabric, ensuring that communities are resilient in the face of challenges. The influence of compassion is also evident in its ability to inspire others. When we choose to act with compassion, we set an example for those around us. Compassion is contagious. When others witness acts of kindness and empathy, they are more likely to replicate them in their own lives. This creates a cycle of positivity that extends far beyond the initial act of compassion. What may start as a single gesture of understanding can spread through families, workplaces, and entire communities, leading to a cultural shift toward kindness and cooperation. Compassion thus has the power to not only improve individual lives, but to transform entire communities and societies, creating a legacy of goodwill that can last for generations. Moreover, the impact of compassion is not limited to how it influences our interactions with others. It also plays a vital role in our own mental and emotional health. When we practice compassion, we enhance our own sense of purpose and fulfillment. Acts of kindness not only benefit those who receive them, but they also contribute to a deeper sense of connection and meaning for the one who gives. This creates a positive feedback loop. As we engage in compassionate behavior, we experience emotional rewards, which in turn motivate us to continue acting with kindness and empathy. In this way, compassion nourishes both the individual and the collective, enhancing the overall quality of life for all involved. The transformative power of compassion, therefore, cannot be overstated. It transcends individual relationships and has the potential to reshape the very structures of society. Whether in our personal interactions or in the larger context of social systems, compassion fosters understanding, cooperation, and peace. It dismantles barriers, resolves conflicts, and drives societal progress. When we choose compassion, we not only enrich our own lives, but contribute to the creation of a more just, equitable, and harmonious world. Through our actions, compassion becomes a force for positive change, influencing the trajectory of societies and ensuring that we move toward a future where the well-being of all people is prioritized.